Welcome to step 21 of this interview ninja course. We're going to talk about two powers within the human mind. One is to adjust your focus so that you can bring to bear your mental resources on a particular issue. But in parallel with that, you have the ability to widen your focus and see the bigger picture. And normal education doesn't really encourage you to focus out and look broadly. Now, there is that inner capability called Gestalt, and we're going to try and get Corben to use more of his Gestalt capabilities. The other powerful human capability is to imagine or envision structure so that an argument or a conversation, or in this case a picture, can be given structure. And the human mind loves to have structure. It loves to follow through a given structure from the beginning through the middle and to the end. And you can use that natural capability to great effect in your everyday life, but you will need to practice storytelling.
Look around the room. What have I changed?
You've put a box under the computer. Was the first thing I noticed.
What's changed behind us?
Nothing. As far as you've moved the computer from over there, but the beers, which stood out to me, are still there. Alex's books.
Were they there before?
No, they weren't there before.
Why are they there now?
Advertising.
In a way,
Yes.
They're there as props for me to inspire you.
Yes.
My eldest son, Alexander, is now a published author with Golans, which is one of the world's leading sci-fi producers, and he's already written a trilogy of books. They're there, Roboteer, Exodus, Nemesis. You can buy those books, and you can buy the audio tape of Roboteer. Okay, so that's changed.
Yes.
It's a prop.
Okay,
right?
if I was being really gestalt, I would know what was going.
What's changed over there?
You've moved the old computer from underneath it. It's a slightly less cluttered workspace.
Agreed.
You've put a box under the computer and a mat over the box.
Agreed.
You've given it a mouse pad made out of a...
It's a rubbish mouse pad. I haven't got that far. What about the picture above it?
In adult life, it's important to have a wide focus rather than a narrow one. See the big picture first. Understand what's going on around you and then focus in. If you go in from the beginning with a tight focus, the probability is you will actually miss most of what's going on.
That's new.
Yes, that's changed.
And you've swapped it for the one that's behind me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Why did I swap that one for that one?
Seeing and becoming aware is just the beginning. The next step is understanding. So I quickly introduce the concept of structure because you need to think not just what you're seeing, but why it is that way. Has someone made some effort to create an environment for you?
Apart from levels of appropriateness, maybe because is it something to do with colour?
It's the mood of that picture. What do you notice about the hand of the lady?
I want to show the camera.
Perhaps you can later. Yeah. Sorry, this is a bit silly because Corben can see the picture. My point is the picture has power, and the hand in the picture is significant about drawing the viewer in and taking the whole design and the line and everything.
You can see Corben's internal energy switch on at this point. The light of decision comes into his eyes, and he takes over the action and picks up the computer so that we can see the picture together. This greatly encourages me to keep up the pressure for positive behavioural change. It shows he's ready, willing and adaptable, and being a really positive part of the process to include you, the viewer, and hopefully the learner.
It's all designed, like any good painting, to carry the eye around the picture.
Yeah, look, I'll flip it around because I think that's important too.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so if you look at that painting, the hand draws the eye in. The pink along the top of the cushion that she's leaning on takes the eye across. The eye travels up along the line of her hair, where the hair and the face mix. Then there's spiky type flowers in the background that have an impact in themselves. Then the eye travels around automatically to the colour in the flower of the pot plant. And then below the pot plant is a little kind of mountain of pale colour, which the eye follows down, and it automatically then connects with the darker blue running along the bottom of the picture, and that takes you through to the hand, and you go round again. So
It's like a little trail.
It's like a trail.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, just...
There we go. All good.
Just as conversation is like music, so conversation and the path of a conversation, so the style of a conversation is like music, all right?
Yeah.
But the path of a conversation is like a picture, painting a picture, giving a vision,
A direction. Yeah.
following a direction,
Yeah.
controlling the direction of where you're going to be.
The Institute of Practical Learning has been set up to help you thrive in the modern world of 2022, where so much of your earlier education has been about science. But the really important area to understand is people, starting with understanding yourself with self-awareness, and then being able to understand other people, become aware of their thoughts, understand them, analyze them, and then develop your own capabilities to interact with them using what's normally called soft skills. Now, to do that, you are going to have to draw on what is called the 7 liberal arts. It's largely lost to modern education. These 7 liberal arts have been developed over the last 5,000 years and possibly even before that. But for the last 5,000 years, people have been writing down stories and thoughts to help the next generation. And the 7 liberal arts are the foundation of what we have been using to help you grow your soft skills. In your normal education, you will have experienced 2 of the 7, and those are number and geometry. Now, they are captured in a book called the Quadrivium, which covers number, geometry, music, and cosmology. We tend not to teach cosmology these days, although if you think about it, the exploration of mankind into space, going to the moon, maybe going to Mars one day, looking at the stars, it's all there in the background. And in fact, it's there in your day-to-day life, because we use 360 degrees in our geometry, and even our time is broken up into 60 seconds and 60 minutes and 24 hours, and it's all there, but we don't realize it's there. The other main thing that people don't realize is the liberal arts of grammar, logic, and rhetoric. These are captured in a fairly recent publication called the Trivium. So you will recognize, if you look through the Trivium, that we are using a lot of the techniques that are written down in that book. And that book itself is founded on the writings of Aristotle to a large extent, and another person called Trismegistus, and a whole load of other people. But it's all the ancient knowledge that's been captured. It's very apposite to the modern world that we live in. And we're not suggesting you study those sources, because we've pillaged those and we've pulled out of them what's really important for you to understand, so that you can develop your soft skills, be successful in interview, and also have a mastery over what's going on in organizations, with other people putting all kinds of pressure on you and all sorts of expectations. And how do you thrive in that environment? How can you succeed? And how can you be happy? So that's our focus. It is rooted in the classical 7 liberal arts, and we recommend you look at them in your own spare time, because you have a lot of other things to learn in the meantime.
Okay, and what you want to communicate as a painter, what you want to communicate. Okay, now the music has pace. The painting doesn't have pace, but it has beauty, a different sort of beauty to music. All right, so now
Visual beauty.
I want you to imagine that
By saying, I want you to imagine, I am making a request to Corben's subconscious, because your subconscious uses imagination to try out theories. Some people think their dreams have quite a lot to do with this. So by saying, I want you to imagine, I'm going to flip Corben forward into a state where he is already empowered and already has some level of practice, and let his subconscious try that on. Shortly after that, I'm going to ask his subconscious to try on a specific thing, which is based on the Bono hat theory, which you may want to look up on the internet. And it's where you can put your mind into different kinds of leadership state. You'll see what I mean when we watch the rest of this section.
you've had this lecture or this input a year ago, and you've been out there in the world using those skills, being aware of yourself, being aware of your purpose, being aware of your pace and your style and the words you use, being aware of trying to bring a kind of verbal beauty for the listener. So you're going to talk to them, not in a picturesque or flamboyant way, but in a way that they're going to really enjoy listening to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I want you to become a member of what I call the Total Control Task Force. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you may say that's a bit of an ask, but I've got an easy way to help you with that. I've got this. It's a bit old because it's been round the block. So what's it say on the front?
I have a massive head. TCTF.
Total Control Task Force, okay?
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Did you get that made? Or did someone give it to you?
It's what it is. It doesn't matter.
You got that made, didn't you? Let me... Hey.
Ooh, leave it off. Don't pop it up.
All right.
It's not like we're going out into a gale.
No, that's true.
Okay? And you have to have it in a way that the camera can... Well, you wear it where you're comfortable with it.
Oh, no, I want people to see my Total Control Task Force.
So if you wear that, you are empowered. So you're a year on,
Yeah.
a year on, and you're totally empowered. And you're going to do that intro again for 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very briefly what we did before, and now what we're going to do next.
Okay.
What we're going to do next, and what you want to suck or pull from me.
Yeah.
Pull's a better word. Not got quite so many connotations as the other one. And I want some passion, I want some style, I want some pace, I want some rhythm, I want some, like, the beauty of language. See what you can do.
Yeah, I will.
Think of Shakespeare. Think of the beauty of his language.
I think
Think of the theatre. You work in the theatre.
I'm backstage once again.
But you see actors.
Something, maybe it's this has become a personal critique, but maybe something about everything that I do feels rather backstage.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't be any more.
Okay, let's frontman skills.
Well, you're going up on the stage.
Yeah.
At the front.
Yeah, all right.
Do you think this guy does everything in the back?
No, obviously not anymore.
Do you want to be in the back?
I think there's a nice element of being in the back because you watch everything come together. But I'd like to be in the front.
You want to control your own life, don't you?
Yeah, I feel like I not only do I control my life, but I would control the band as well. And there's that. I have the element.
You do it already.
I have the element of control. It's not that I'm concerned about. What I don't have is I control what I do, but I don't put my name on what I do. I don't have to say it so it relates to what we've been talking about, but
I get that. I mean, nobody likes to show off.
I'm halfway into my total control task force, but I feel like a member of the total control task force would be able to say that they are a member of the total control task force and be like, I made this thing, check it out.
After you've done this,
yeah,
and we've got it in the can, as it were,
yeah,
I'm going to tell you why you are the way you are now. Not the way you're going to be. I'm going to tell you why you like being at the back rather than at the front. Okay?
Yeah. Wonderful. Right,
if we have time. Now, do we have to do anything clever with that computer?
I'm just going to stop and start again so that it's all saved and...
Corben is what's called an S3 type of leader, which means he doesn't do much directing, but he does do a lot of supporting. So we'll be covering more of that later in step 22. But think about yourself and what style of leadership you want to adopt, if any, or are you just happy being a follower?